Yes, yes, yes. It is a Castworthy podcast, and we are back. It is Sunday, April 3rd, 2022. It's a beautiful day. It's looking like a hot boy Sunday. Um, I am Big Steve, aka Last of a Dying Breed, on the Twitter machine, joined today by the VP and one EJ Stewart. No longer savaging. There's two things that are undefeated, we say, right? Only one thing can change Mr. Stewart. He don't care about time, but he cares about vagina. What's up, gentlemen? How you guys doing?
I'm good, man. Just chilling, holding it down, per se and whatnot.
Per se. EJ,
My
you
mic,
muted
my mic
yourself.
keeps getting muted, man. I don't know what's going
Your
on.
mic sounds nice. Check one. There's
Yeah, it
probably
keeps getting
Vari over
muted.
there. You know, he'd be trying to be funny. What's good, man? What's going on up in Delaware or Baltimore, rather? Always
All is well,
associate
man.
you with Delaware because of your college.
Yeah, all is well. I don't know that the city's been too violent this weekend. Hopefully it hasn't, but got to go to Howard University yesterday. Well, Friday
That
rather.
explains your lateness.
Well, no, it was Friday rather. Um,
Oh,
to witness young fella cross over into the fraternity, and it's a good sight, man. Just a lot of good looking black people in one place. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope.
do you have to get like tickets or screening to get onto Howard University's campus, or can you just
No,
like walk on? Like it
you could
like
just
is it
you
based
could
on
just walk
your
on.
the amount of melanin in your skin?
No, you could just walk on. It's
Like, am I good?
Howard.
Can I get through?
Yeah, Howard has like one of those city campuses where if you're just in the city, you could just get on there. So
Okay.
you could just walk on there, and it was cool because this football team rather from Detroit, high school football team was there. And they got to witness, the whole college experience. I think their coach brought them out there for something. I don't know what, but it was good to see the young kids experiencing that stuff pretty young, because you having that exposure at a young age can influence you to want to attend and do those type things. So that was pretty cool.
How often do you pop into Howard?
Not at all. Not at all. Often at all. I think probably the last time I was there might have been 3 or 4 years ago. But I mean, it's right up in DC. Not a
Yeah.
far
It's
little
So
trip.
Howard's
close
actually
to
in
where you work.
DC.
Yeah, it's close to where you work.
No, it's literally the opposite side of town. I'm in southeast, and Howard is in northwest. What we call
Oh,
in DC, you call it uptown. It's pretty much like
Oh,
going from it's pretty much like going from downtown Manhattan to Harlem kind of thing.
okay.
Not as big because DC isn't geographically as big, but
yeah.
traffic wise, it'll feel that way.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. So sounds like you had a little eventful weekend. Did you dabble in any Howard? I know
I,
once you throw on, I know when you throw on the little fucking frat letters and shit. That I know the sororities they be out there,
They were definitely
and
out
you
there, man.
and you a big brother, so
They were definitely out there. I was just there to support the youngin, and I tell you, man, the college kids today, they definitely don't look like the ones that I went to school with. The ones I went to
mm.
school with look like they were just putting stuff together.
Tell me
These
more.
kids today, man, they it's like I mean, well, people even said that back when I went to school, how it was like a fashion show. But these kids today, they got all accessories, all of the expensive stuff on. It's crazy. It's
When
just
you took her
crazy.
shirt off, she had sorority pasties on.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, part of that shit is different though, just because like you think about back like when you went to school, right? And you probably showed up to school with like the clothes you wore like in your senior year. You know what I
Right.
mean? And but these kids nowadays is like, oh shit, it's a new semester. I gotta go shopping, and they 18. They know about store credit cards and shit like that. So they're ruining their finances with student loan debt. and then credit card debt and shit like that, so that way they can stunt for the gram and look fresh to death to show up to fucking English 101. You know,
Right.
so
Student loan debt, you say. You say ruin. You said ruin and student loan debt in the same sentence. That doesn't sound like you. You must be sick. Yeah, I think back then too. Like, so remember, like, people probably did school shopping once a year back then. You know, and that's not long ago. I mean, what year did you graduate? I know you pledged in 06, right? So when did you graduate?
2008.
Okay. Yeah, so we're still talking about this millennium. So interesting the change that has taken place in just 12 young years.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I remember for me, you know, like in high school, you know, we did school shopping like in the summer, and then like those were my school clothes basically. And then like around Christmas, you know, you maybe got a couple of things to add into the repertoire. And then like, especially for boys, like, you know, our feet grow like fucking crazy. So you might need a new pair of shoes, and boys are hard on shoes anyway. So you might need a new pair of shoes at Christmas, you know, but that was kind of like it, you know what I mean? And then, but nowadays, man, motherfuckers is like, you need Christmas clothes, and then you need like a Halloween refresh. I mean a school year clothes, and then the Halloween refresh. Then you got to get shit for Christmas, and then, you know, Valentine's Day, and then you got to get the Easter shit, you know, and then it's crazy, man.
You know why? Social media. Yeah. Nobody wants to be in a picture wearing the same outfit twice, right? Definitely not close to. I do it all the time. Not close, yeah, because you always got on fucking black.
I'm with you.
Yeah, but you guys are old. I'm talking about the young strapping kids that we're talking about that you just saw over at Howard, right? So the gram, you know, these people are popping up on the gram. There's no way you could be at an event this Friday and then go out next Friday and wear the same outfit like today. You know what I'm saying? Because people gonna be like, dang, he a broke ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? You know how women and even everybody, right? That's just how people think. Like, dang, he broke. Same outfit? Ugh. Like washing machines.
This guy with the Jordans is the background. The case of Jordans with the background, says the guy with the case of Jordans.
Fresh. Yeah, but I grew into that. I'm 40, man. You know what I'm saying?
But I hear you though, Steve. Like, man, when I was in high school, man, I remember one year, man, like my mom was really hurting, you know. And like for school clothes, I had like fucking like maybe like 8 outfits, yo. And I used to be trying to remember like what day I wore what, so I can make sure I got my rotation down right. You know what I mean? Sort of look like I'm wearing shit too close together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you know, or sometimes it's like, oh, you know, this shirt go with these pants, but this shirt also could match these pants. You know, so you try to mix it up a little bit of shit. But now, man, these kids, it's like these motherfuckers are going to a photo shoot or some shit, you know?
Yeah, I'm like that now with work clothes. I'll be like, damn, did I wear this fucking shirt last? Even though it went to the cleaners, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, damn, did I wear this shit last week? Let me give it a, you know. Yeah, because we don't iron in this house.
Yo.
And it's not because we don't want to. It's because I was not privy to be in the military like Vari.
No. Hey.
So I don't know how to I don't know how to iron like work shirts. I'll iron like t-shirts and jeans and shit, but I don't know how to iron fucking work shirts, collar shirts.
I can iron the hell out of my work shirts and shit like that. But as much shit as I give Steve about his, you know, fucking rich boy life, ordering groceries online and you know, not messing with peasants and shit like that, I feel
oh my god,
I feel him on the cleaners, Joe. If you got quality clothes, you know, polo shirts, you know, shit like that, if you send those shits to the cleaners, wooden hangers, them shits will last an eternity. So
that too.
You two motherfuckers are bougie.
That too.
You two motherfuckers are bougie. Bougetto.
Nah, you just gotta. I mean, listen. If I knew how to, which I've watched YouTube video upon YouTube video, and the shit just don't come out fresh. And like, you know, so I'll get one collar, you know, one side of the collar should be crisp, sitting nice, perfect little fucking V crease. Then the other side be fucking seed up. Nah, I'm not about that life, man. I gotta look nice in these streets for work, man. I'm black. I got enough against me already.
Right. True.
Um, so man, there's been a week of backlash from the smack heard around the world. The aftermath, if you would, came out. We'll get right into that. It came out that Netflix initially put a pause on the Will Smith video. I saw today on the interwebs that they pulled out pause, and that they may not even be releasing that shit, or that's what the latest was, right? So I mean, things change. If he comes
Releasing
out
what?
and
Releasing
he
some
had a move,
project. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he had a project with Netflix
Okay.
that was set to release. Let me get the exact name of it.
Sounded trash, but some movie that he was going on, and that he had going, and they're talking about pausing it. I think it's a little too far.
Yeah.
It was a Sony movie. It was called Fast and Loose,
Yeah.
and so
I didn't like the title. It gave me
so
Fast and Furious vibes.
as a
Oh,
Saturday.
okay. I thought we were thinking something else.
Oh my gosh! Of course. Diarrhea, right?
Oh, that
That's a
I
good
was thinking
title.
something else as well.
That's a good title.
More from
I'm gonna look that one up.
talking about more from his like personal life.
Oh wow.
So
There you go.
Jada.
There you go.
So initially they said that they had put it on the back burner, but Saturday the headline says that they backed away, which makes me think that according to the articles, they've moved on. But yeah, I want to go back to before King Richard came out. There was one person on this pod that said there was a reason they chose Will Smith when two other people said that it was a clear case of colorism. And the reason that this one person said was because of the overall success that it would have due to Will Smith. And after seeing it win an Oscar, I think one person on this pod was right. I don't remember who it was, but there was one.
So I don't remember who it was either, but I was, since we try to deal in facts on this podcast, let me also say that it didn't win an Oscar. Will Smith won an Oscar.
All the same.
Nah, it's kind of not.
Well, he won the Oscar for what performance though?
For best role, best actor in a leading role.
On what film?
One of us also agreed that he was chosen to fill seats, but nevertheless,
You did agree on that. I'll give you that.
It still didn't.
I mean, one of us.
It still didn't fit the bill of who this dude really looks like. Like, he looks nothing like their pops at all. Vari looks more like King Richard right now than he does.
Kind of, he does. And Vari probably wouldn't have went up there and smacked the shit out of Chris Rock. So all right, so Netflix backed away from that project that came out yesterday, Saturday. Which I mean, that's big. It was a Sony film, so it wasn't some little bullshit ass film. And he's had the previous film. He had another film with Netflix that did okay. It was not that good, but it did okay.
What film was that?
The one that was Yes, yeah.
Bright was fucking amazing.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, but it didn't do that great. I thought it was good,
didn't.
and you thought it was good because we could see the implications of the racial divide as they painted it.
Bright did good numbers.
It didn't do enough to put it in the theaters.
Well, it's on Netflix. What is he gonna
That's
go
what I'm
to
saying.
theaters for? Netflix doesn't do theater movies.
Yeah,
What are you talking
Netflix
about?
only releases Netflix shit goes based on views.
Right, that's Netflix. But what I'm saying is, if that movie had gone into theaters, it may not have even gotten watched. That's what I'm saying. Because when you watched you didn't know it was good until you watched it, and you only watched it because you had it accessible in your living room. But if you had put Netflix. Listen, I'm talking about the movie. Forget Netflix for a second. If you take that movie and you put that trailer on your TV and you say, "Hey, this is going to be in theaters," it doesn't do numbers first week. It doesn't do numbers in the theaters. Once it goes to video, maybe because people have access to it. But it going to Netflix is why I think it did the numbers, is what I'm saying.
Well, I get what you're saying in theory, but that's the whole point, that it was a Netflix film. Like it, maybe he intentionally got involved with that, knowing it was for Netflix only. But it was a dope film and it did numbers on Netflix.
Yeah. And I mean, when people get involved with Netflix, I think they do it. Netflix is kind of caught in this kind of catch-22 situation, right? Like they're kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. They need to get big name people to come to their platform to film shit, and these people are able to walk away with a bag regardless of how trash their movie is, right? So like that movie Red Notice with Gal Gadot, The Rock, and Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
It was all right, but I'm pretty sure those people, all three of them combined, probably walked away with a good 75-80 million dollars, and the movie was just okay. You know what I mean? I don't know how many views it got. I don't know if it met the threshold of what it, whatever it costs to make. You know what I mean? But and you probably had the same thing with Will Smith. Netflix, like, yo, let's get Will Smith, huge bankable star, put him in this movie, and then who knows if it did good or not as far as like views are concerned. And that's also why with Netflix, they changed the whole thing now. Remember before when you watch Netflix, the shit would end and then it would kind of just scroll through like a screensaver type shit. You know what I'm saying? And now they start the autoplay of the movie because a lot of people fall asleep watching Netflix and they just keep playing these fucking movies and then they're like, yo, fucking Bright, that shit got 600 million views and like 500 million of those views are people sleeping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. No doubt. And you can, yeah. So there's been some backlash, right? He lost that film. A lot of comedians are out there kind of making their voice heard on how they felt about it. There's a few that stood out to me. The one you sent, EJ, with Corey Holcomb, that shit was crazy. He was he went full savage mode on it. Basically he put out his
would. We said he would.
Mm-hmm.
We did. We
Corey
expected
Corey.
it. Corey went Corey. Bill Maher mentioned it. And Bill Maher had the same sentiments as me. He was like, it's alopecia. You know what I'm saying? And he said, when I heard alopecia, much like the rest of the fucking black people, he didn't say this. This is me. This is what I said Monday. Much like the rest of, the black society on social media, they immediately went to, oh my God, she has cancer. Well, now I see why he did it. Right. And he was like, I wasn't familiar. And then he went and he Googled alopecia and found out what it was. And he identified the fact that it ain't that fucking bad, dog. Like, I mean, I get it. It can cause you to be, mentally distressed because you're concerned with the loss of your hair, especially as a woman, no doubt. But it's not. It definitely wasn't worthy of a smack. So Bill Maher commented, and then Tony Rock did a show last night, and that's kind of gone somewhat viral, where he opened his show, and I thought it was necessary. People are like, oh, look at him trying to eat off of this, but I don't think that's the case. I think for him, Tony Rock, I think it was necessary for him to address it because he's attached to Chris Rock, his brother, right? So people are expecting him to come out and say something. And if he didn't, it would have been like, well, why aren't we getting anything? And he came out for clarity, and he was like, if you come up on this stage, you're going to get these paws. Yeah. And he basically said, so you punched my brother, you smacked my brother because your bitch gave you the side eye. This is Tony Rock. This is, quoted. And then he was like, you're going to have to deal with the Rock brothers.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be addressed. It's the elephant in the room. And like we all said on Monday, if Will Smith's intention, whatever it was, you made it worse, because something that could have just went by, like VP said, countless times. Who remembers the jokes from the Oscars? No one. And this joke could have just went under the border, under the boardwalk. No one would have asked. No one would have cared. And here we are. Because you went and did that and reacted the way that you did, now this thing will be a thing for the next 30 years. Literally. Right. It's going to be something that's going to live in TV history, etched in our brains. Kids that are 12, 7 years old. They're talking about it. They're hearing about it. It's gonna be around forever and ever. It's
Right.
always gonna be a thing. The Oscars, as old as the Oscars are, this is now gonna be attached to it forever. Good job.
Yeah. And you know, to that point, EJ, like I said, nobody's. I stopped watching the Oscars in the last couple of years, but I used to watch like all the award shows, you know, every year, Grammys, Oscars, etc. And
Because you're
before
married.
this, huh?
Because you're married.
Before this, like I literally only can remember one joke told at the Oscars, and coincidentally, it was a Chris Rock joke. But when he hosted like back in the Bush years or whatever, like back in the mid 2000s or whatever, you know. And I only remember it because it was like it had a political twist to it or whatever, you know. And I think that's why it stuck with me, you know. But nobody remembers that shit, you know. And now you've made this moment basically infamous. You know, it's just gonna, like you said, it's gonna be around forever.
Yeah.
And then now, like, you know, we still don't know what Chris Rock's gonna do. I hope Chris Rock sues him, you know. So you might be losing a bag there. You know, you just got this Netflix project canceled. He has another project that he's working on with Apple for Apple TV. Apple hasn't said anything yet, but who knows? You know what I mean? And Steve talked about a Sony project that may be possibly going away. Or I might be confusing the Netflix and Sony, I'm not sure. But regardless, you know, that's still money that you're losing on top of a potential lawsuit that you may be facing.
Right.
And now everything he does, when you were just gonna watch it because it was a Will Smith joint, now everything he does is gonna be so scrutinized. You know, it's gonna be looked at to be like, okay, is this any good? You know, how do we look at this now? You know, and then your future work, are we gonna be like, damn, you know, what's really going on? Like this, even though while it's so minuscule to so many people, oh, he defended his wife, he did this great. You watch the guy unravel and assault another person for a joke. You
Right.
know, regardless of whatever it was said, we're living in a day and age, like we said, people are trying to be reformed, people trying to be accepting of things, you know, and violence is one of those things that people across the board are not good with. And then
Right.
you went to curse this man out and look like a savage. So it's
Right.
like,
Right.
you know, where are you gonna go from here?
Right. And you know, let's say everything happens the way that it did. Rock tells a joke, Jada Pinkett does the side eye, Will laughs, and then realizes like, oh shit. How hard would it have been when they, you know, when Chris Rock goes off stage, when they go to the commercial break or whatever, to walk up? Obviously, you can just walk up there, you know, to go up there and say, hey man, you know, like she's dealing with a medical condition, yo, like that shit, that's not cool. And then it's possible Chris Rock doesn't even know she has alopecia. He could have think that she's doing a new hairstyle. You know, I mean, shit, Black Panther was a popular movie. Maybe you had black chicks shaving their head, like to be like, yo, like, you know, motherland type shit. You know what I'm saying? And Rock's like, oh, you know, my bad, I didn't know that or whatever. You know, I'm sorry. Tell him I'm sorry, or I can go tell him I'm sorry. You know, and he, you know, no, that's cool, man. Just wanted to let you know, boom, done. You know what I'm saying?
Or use the moment to highlight alopecia if you're that concerned with it. Instead of saying, "Hey, you know, my wife's dealing with this," you know, to Chris Rock, just take the mic and be like, "Hey, listen, you know, this is a good time to highlight and, you know, discuss mental health, right? As
Yeah.
it pertains to women dealing with alopecia, because
Right.
for us, for men, right, we can lose our. If I lose my beard and my hair tomorrow, I mean, I'm gonna be a sexy ass nigga anyway. But you know, for for women, you know, it's got to be you know, it's got to be difficult anyway, right? I mean, I know that you know, I've heard stories of women starting to lose hair after childbirth, right? And that turning into, you know, a mentally distressing situation for them. So I can imagine alopecia, just you pop up one day and you start to see, you know, chunks of hair or bald spots or whatever that looks like, you know. And then we had someone comment on one of our posts who had dealt with it, and she made mention of, you know, your eyelashes not being there to stop, you know, dust from going in your eye and stuff like that. So while you're healthy, there's still some stuff that you deal with, the little hairs on your tongue that prevent certain things, the hairs in your nose that stop particles from going into your, you know, into your windstream, right? in your ears and stuff like that. So I didn't think about that, and I'm sure a lot of people don't, and she put that on our post. So I think it's necessary, to highlight. I still don't think it's warranted for somebody to be physically harmed because they made a joke.
And Steve, I totally agree. And I didn't even know that. I thought it was just the hair on the head. And to that, like the point you just made is fucking excellent. Like Will Smith could have got up there and said, "Hey, like this shit is just, even though it may seem like it's not a serious condition, the eyelashes, the nostril hair, et cetera, these people are actually dealing with things on top of, how they look, how the world, how they perceive the world sees them, and it can have, a mental health aspect to it. And so it's not cool to make fun of people with alopecia the same way you would make fun of somebody who's bald because of cancer. You know what I mean? And you could have made the moment bigger, and again, it's possible Rock didn't know. He could have thought that she just chose to shave her head or something like that, and then now you just raised awareness on an issue that most people don't know about.
Yeah,
Right.
think of the moment it would have been to say, hey, as classy as Will is and as we've known him to be, grab the mic to say, hey, Jada has alopecia, so give it up for her for coming out here and representing every day that she does. Now you went up there, man, and you didn't even, we can even suspect he didn't even want to do this. And you take away from everything when you go smack another black man and the platform that you have, the person that you are, and the stage that was set. It just was bad. It sets a bad precedent. And the sad part about it, that we as a people on a small scale can look at it and be satisfied with that. All the violence that we dealing with in our communities, etc. This is what we promoting to the youth to say, this is how you handle your discrepancies. Come on now. Like,
Yeah.
in any other way, in any other shape or form, people will say toxic masculinity. This is what's not supposed to be done. But because it's in honor of what looks like a good thing of him protecting, quote unquote, his wife, it's okay. It's not okay. No one getting hit against their will is okay at all.
Yeah. And you know what else is too, like I mean, that point Steve just made is damn. Like if you think about it, the movie that won Best Picture was that movie Coda, which is a movie about like a person who's deaf, like they use sign language and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And you could have had, this thing which raised a lot of like I saw a lot of news stories after the Oscars, not only about Will Smith, but talking about Coda and the deaf community and things like that. And you could have had, alopecia as well as, the deaf community kind of getting a lot of awareness raised. Maybe Will Smith could have did something with alopecia and for deaf people to raise more awareness or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's so many um
And it
it's
could have
so
led
many
to
things.
endorsements.
Yeah, it's so many things that this moment could have helped create, and it's all lost for what?
Yep. No, I agree. And then you talk about, I know we mentioned Chris Rock potentially suing and stuff. And, I mean, I applaud Chris Rock. And I said it the other day for being poised in the situation. And that could have just been shock, right? Because when we saw that other angle that I put in the chat yesterday, to me, he seemed kind of shocked, man. But if he doesn't sue, right, his ticket sales have gone up. They added a whole nother show here in Orlando. So they skyrocketed that much here, and I'm not saying that it's good that he dealt with this, but I'm glad that it helped positively, right, in one way. And if he chooses not to sue and chooses just to settle with him, um, and sign whatever, NDA they want. You can't make any jokes about it. You can't talk about it publicly. That's fine because every other comedian, the world is opening back up. And in this next year to year and a half to 2 years, every comedian that writes a script is going to have some sort of Will Smith joke potentially in there. Whether they deliver it or not, they definitely have them.
Hmm.
So, and the other sad part is, as you heard from his Boston show, how when he addressed it, and you could kind of hear in a sad way, he was saying, well, to a heckler, Is he gonna come up on stage and try to kill me? Like that. I mean, that's pretty sad, man. Like, and this guy, this heckler, got thrown out of the show, and like we said on this show,
Got arrested.
yeah,
he got arrested.
like we said on this show, every comedian, I don't care what side of the fence they stand on with this issue, they have to have some feeling on Chris Rock's side because this is their place of work. This is what they do. They deal with hecklers. They do that shit to people in the front row all the time. And it wasn't even as if he said something crazy about her. He said something in a positive light, and it was a subtle joke. Let's just be real. It wasn't the end of the world. He didn't disrespect her. She's an actor. What? You know what I mean? So now every comedian now has to have this Will Smith effect.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And to your point, VP, Chris Rock probably didn't know because I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's been in the news. And if you're not watching Red Table Talk or you're not following Jada or you're not, if they're, we know they're familiar with one another, but if they're not in the same circle, then Chris Rock may not have known. Like you said, he might have thought fashion statement. Right. Oh, sitting next to Lupita. Oh, attention seeker. Like, because she's been that for the last few years. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So yeah, man. It was just very distasteful. And it's a fucking shame, man, because Will Smith, he's been a star, and he's been like, you haven't heard, aside from now with his wife, you haven't heard a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like just
negative stuff.
Negative stories about him through his career. Like he went through a divorce before, and you didn't hear anything about it. You didn't hear anything negative about it. Even his old work is just like, no, we good. You know what I'm saying? He's been there throughout, he's been supportive and everything. So this guy has just kind of been a model for what we need and what we want for Black men coming up. And he just tarnished the fuck out of that legacy with one bad decision, man. It sucks,
And it's sad because unfortunately for him, he has that level of influence and it comes with the territory. Even when referencing the Oscars joke Chris Rock did before, Jada even said, like, we're in the public eye. This comes with the territory, and it's sad that he is human, but, with great responsibility, great power comes great responsibility. So, and it just, I don't know. We'll get over it, but it'll never be forgotten. And comedians are about to go ham. I mean, Corey Holcomb, we literally said that was the first guy that was gonna go nuclear on this shit, and he went
did
absolutely nuclear. Like he was disgustingly savage, but it's Corey Holcomb.
Yeah,
right. And I appreciate him for doing it. I appreciate him for being that open about about his support for Chris Rock and for comedians, and they're a close-knit group, so, but he went crazy. But yeah, man, it sucks, but hopefully Will Smith, over time, obviously it's not going to be something that kills him, right? He's not going to get canceled, but it's gonna halt some stuff, pause some stuff, and we'll see where it goes from here. I've been watching Bel-Air since we're on Will Smith. I am fully caught up on Bel-Air. VP, have you started Bel-Air? Had you been watching it at all?
Nah, I've been watching other stuff.
Okay. I know you were watching. I know you've watched it, EJ. I saw your post. That's what I was mentioning yesterday. And episode 10 is where it gets really, really good. And I thought they did fucking phenomenal with that last episode, with whatever they were with that episode, with whatever, we know what they were doing there. But as I started Bel-Air, I think I said a few episodes ago, a few pods ago, that it didn't catch me. And I don't know what the fuck happened, but it caught me. And so I watched 6 episodes in the last 2 days of that shit. And it's an hour long, 45 minutes episode each one. So, but it's good, man. How have you liked it, EJ?
And Steve,
Nah,
real quick, EJ,
mhm.
Steve, this is why I always say I give shows 3 episodes.
Here we go. He
No,
always got
I'm
it.
being serious. Like, because
Nah,
you can watch
I
a
know.
show, you watch a show and you kind of like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? And if you just give up on it after episode 1, when they're trying to like build the universe, build the characters up, kind of let you know what's happening in the backstory, etc., you can kind of get lost in it and think, oh, this is a terrible show. And then you see people talking about it like, yo, did you catch, whoop 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 last night? That's, oh my God. And you're like, this show's awful, but you've only seen one episode.
Exactly.
No, but Bel Air, I mean, they took a whole dramatic spin on this thing, and it's just good acting, it's good drama, it's just good. It captures you. All of the actors do their job phenomenally. Like, people were killing Carlton on social media.
That motherfucker's a beast, yo.
He's
a beast, yo.
He's good. It's all good. Like, in everything that he did, it's just, it comes out and it culminates to be exactly what you want it to be, and it's good acting, and it's just a great show. It's a great show.
Yeah. When I first started watching it, and I think I even said it on the pod, I didn't like the Carlton actor and I didn't like the Hillary actor. And Hillary's come a long way. She's done the one that I think she's done a great job. And
Hillary,
she fine. She fine. For
check
for a
you out
little
like a
blackberry.
chocolate girl.
A
Check
little
you out looking
blackberry action.
like some chocolate finally.
She fine
Yeah,
though.
she definitely is.
But Carlton, the dude that plays him, you know what? I gotta look his name up because
I guarantee he's British. I guarantee
EJ,
he's
definitely
EJ,
British.
pull him up because no one else on this pod does any research. The dude that plays Carlton, man, when it first started, I didn't like him. But man, he's gotten really, really good at playing that role. He's done a great job, ups, downs, anger, like he's got range. And
his name is Ali Charlatan.
Yeah, he's Nigerian. He's a Nigerian actor. Nigerian American actor. I would guarantee he's probably British.
And you just said Nigerian.
Yeah, well, a lot of Nigerians
probably went to school in
Oh, you mean by way of
yeah.
Great Britain?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about
Nope,
and
he's
then
from Atlanta. How about that?
Oh, okay. So it's just his roots. What about Uncle Phil? He's African as well, isn't he?
Adrian Holmes. He's Welsh Canadian.
He's Canadian.
He's Welsh Canadian.
He does pretty good. But the dude that plays Carlton, man, he did excellent. There was that one part in episode, and I don't want to ruin it, because that episode's still fairly new. But when he hugged Will, EJ, that part, like, I was super respect to him. Like, that shit, that episode was tough, yo.
Yeah, it was, man. Marlon, listen, if you haven't watched it, we just gonna say it was phenomenal, man. And I felt it personally. Kids, dudes out there that have grown up without having a father, etc. That thing always hits home for me. I won't say it was as compelling as the original. The original play out the way that happened from the first show, but it was up there. It's pretty good. And just the interaction was just real. Like, the way Will acted as a young kid.
I don't know, man.
Towards his father, that was kind of real. Like, that was real. That was pretty crazy.
I thought that whoever wrote Will's stuff was a little OD with it. And I get the anger aspect to it. The swearing and the ultimate disrespect. But I thought it was a little OD. Steve, but I thought it still came well.
That is precisely how, as a young teenage kid, that is precisely how I envisioned addressing my father. Precisely.
And then his response, like, nigga, you better watch your base. You're like, listen, man, you got to watch it just for, if nothing else, to get to that episode. That episode made everything worth, like, even if you don't like the first 9 hours of content that you watch for that show, that episode made. And it was ups, downs. Everyone did a great job. The dude that plays Will Smith, he has started. Jabari Banks. You can see him as time goes on. You can see his mannerisms change, and he's starting to look like Will in old school Will, and some of the stuff he does, and the facial expressions and the movements of his body type, and the way he acts around people, rich people and shit. The way kind of like they portrayed Will in original Fresh Prince. So that was one of my criticisms from the first couple of episodes. It felt off, but I think he was just catching his stride, and you could tell he put the work in and did whatever research, watching of videos, movies, and whatever it was to get there. And this show is doing very well. I haven't seen it. They've been renewed for season 2, but I suspect it's coming.
I would hope so.
And I could see Peacock. I mean, I get that they're trying to rebuild they're trying to build their app up, but I could see them moving it from Peacock the app to a weekly
NBC.
production on television. Yep, no doubt.
Mm.
But you do lose a little bit of the rawness if you do that.
Yeah, the
So
language.
yeah, so that makes it a little tough.
Peacock's been on one though, with Saved by the Bell and Fresh Prince.
Mhm.
They got some other stuff out there cooking. So, but
No
this
doubt.
show is definitely, that episode was precisely how for 19 to 20 years of my life envisioned how I would address my father. Even up until the point where, as an adult, I said, "Fuck it, it is what it is." But that was precisely how I envisioned it happening. Every part of it.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you guys go on bingeables, and then I got one other thing that I watched because I think it's gonna lead into some a little bit longer dialogue. So, VP, what you been watching?
For me, man, I've been watching my normal stuff. Billions. The last episode was pretty good. I can't. They kind of left a cliffhanger vibe, so I can't see what they do. I can't wait to see what they do tonight to kind of start wrapping that storyline up. I also checked out EJ's show recommendation, Hightown on Stars. And I was telling Steve last week when EJ was here, or not, I wasn't here last week, but the week before, that I see why EJ likes the show, because I always look up the actors and people in the show, and it's like all these people from those Chicago shows that he watched, Chicago Fire and Chicago PD and all that, whatever they're called, I don't know. And then there's just copious amounts of lesbianism in there, so I'm pretty sure that also helped him stay along with the show.
Yeah, then yeah.
But overall, I mean, I thought it was a good show. I didn't think it was like as good as EJ said, but it was good enough to keep me watching. Also been watching Outlander on that's on Stars as well. That show is kind of the 6th season. They're like in episode 4 tonight, I believe. So they're kind of starting to get into like the everything that's going to happen, the tension in the season kind of thing. Yep. Yeah, man. Other than that, just regular like TV shit. Basically like watch some reality shows and shit. Survivor.
Cool. Okay. I watched recently. I don't know if it's new or what's going on, but Halo from the Xbox game has like a show now.
How was it?
I watched the first episode, and I don't know what the hell is going on in Halo at all, because I never played the game. But first episode was if you like sci-fi, universe type things, it was pretty cool, pretty fast paced. Yeah, it's interesting. I got to catch up on Force today, so that's on the agenda if it's out, because they be having.
Oh no, there's no episode this week. They took a break, which I'm glad, because I'm still behind by 2 episodes.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. I just said it. So
I know that's where you were going.
Yep. Other than that, I haven't really been watching anything else other than that. Saw that Halo joint. I tried to get into The Expanse on Amazon. I couldn't do it. And I might, I'm gonna get into Upload because of you guys talking about it. But other than that, I watched Halo, and that was decent. So
yeah, I wanted to watch Halo because I played it. I I didn't play the story mode when I played it. I hate story mode, so there's that. Um, but
You're
I've been
weird.
watching it. I like online competition, man. You know, I'm a competitive person, somewhat.
Cheater.
Yeah, I usually
So,
play story mode before I go online.
nah, I ain't about that life. I don't got time
So
for
I
that.
can learn the buttons at least.
Listen, I learned something from an OG. There's one thing you don't get back is time. There's one thing there won't be more of is land. So I plan to moving forward, make sure I treat my time accordingly, as precious as it is, and dedicate my money to land. So that's that. But the last thing that I was watching, I said would be interesting is I watched the Gerard Carmichael special last night on HBO. And Gerard Carmichael, if you don't know him, he's been around for some time. He had a couple stand-ups, and then he ended up having a show, which I thought the show was pretty good, and ended up getting canceled. Gerard Carmichael was one of the funniest comedians that were not known to me in some time. Like for me, his stand-ups are hilarious. He's just dry, and that's the type of comedy I like, just dry. Catches you off guard. The punchline catches you off guard, and the shit's just so fucking hilarious, right?
That show put Tiffany Haddish on.
Yes, that's where Tiffany Haddish came from. And Gerard has had he's had other roles as well, but he's from New York. He's a New Yorker. He's always, always come on stage. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the ghetto, in the projects, always popped up with, he always had Timbs and Jordans and stuff like that. Right. And you just, regular everyday hood from New York. And, so last night I watched his episode, his HBO comedy that came out. I want to say it popped out Friday night. And it made headlines all over because as he went through, he tells a story of, finding out that his father was cheating on his mom for years, and there were just secrets there, and he told his pops he needed to apologize to his mom, and then he leads into needing to reveal secrets of his own, right? And then he's like, my name's not even Gerard. You know what I'm saying? Like, Gerard's my middle name, and I just go by it because I hate my first name. And then he's like, the other one is I'm gay, right? And he pauses for a second, and everyone's kind of just like quiet, waiting for a punchline, right? And there's no punchline because we paint this picture of what black men look like and black masculinity look like in society. And because he's always worn Timbs, and because he's always worn Jordans, and he's always had his hat backwards, and he walks with a limp and shit like that, there's no way he could be gay, right? And that's just how it's always been painted for years. And I think that's what kind of made people just kind of wait, like, okay, well, where's the fucking joke? You know what I'm saying? And there wasn't one. And then, I guess eventually people start to realize, and they start clapping and whatever, because they, that's got to be tough for somebody to say. And then he goes on and goes on and goes on. And it was I thought it was a really good special. And it, delivery is huge. And knowing that could have derailed your special completely, I think that was a really brave, and I commend him for doing it where he did it, because he did it pretty early on, and there was still a bunch of time left. He didn't wait till, minute 58 or 59 to say, oh, by the way, guys, I'm gay. Have a good night. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a really good job, and he you guys have to watch it. It's only an hour long. Very worthy of a watch, funny. And it helps you really understand, and just kind of seeing that made me kind of think, man, yeah, we do. And he didn't say it, but I'm like, yeah, I would have never painted this guy gay, even though I made the joke and said, yeah, he used to tuck his jeans into his Tim, so he had to be gay. But I was just joking at that time, But it's really good, man. You guys got to watch it.
Nah, I had an experience like that, Steve, like what you're talking about, how the audience reacted. I used to watch The Real World, the MTV joint, the reality show.
Yeah.
And one season, you know how like every season they have like the token black person who, you know, acts like a white person basically, you know, and I even hate that term, acting white, but you get what I'm saying. And so I remember one season they had this dude on there. He was like a black guy. He was from like Philly, Tim's, jeans, you know, hoodies. You know, he looked, you know, I was like, yo, they got a real brother on here. You know what I mean? And then like in the first episode,
I remember
he's talking to one of the other cats and he lets him know he's gay. And I'm like, there's no way that guy can't be gay. You know, because I'm looking at like, you know, this brother from Philly with the Tims and, you know, woo woo woo. Like, how's this guy gay? You know, and so yeah, so I definitely can see why the audience reacted that way.
Yeah, just like Steve said, we get reminded that black people we're not monolithic. We got a lot of different layers and different things, and shout out to Carmichael. I didn't know he was from New York.
I didn't either.
I didn't know that, but yeah, I mean, shout out to him, for doing that and being bold about it. And yeah, comedy is special in our lives, and it's a good time for these people to be comedians. I was watching another thing I was watching on Amazon, which is the Fat Tuesday thing, talking about how Guy Torry created this comedy lane for people in LA at that late 90s, early 2000s mark, and just seeing all of the people that were coming on stage, the Tiffany Haddishes, all these different people that were grinding for years and years and years. And Carmichael coming up as a new comedian, coming out and doing that, it's impactful and it's dope. So I definitely want to catch that, because I'm sure he's been grinding for years, and to get to the stage and to tell his truth is it's dope. It's what we all about right now.
Yep, no doubt. It was funny though. I mean, aside from that, and it sucks because that's what's going to be highlighted in the media, right? Oh, Gerard, and that was the headlines. Oh, Gerard Carmichael comes out as gay, blah blah blah. And in a way, it'll work. It'll help for him, But I think it also is going to hurt him, right? Just as much as it helps, because you're going to have people. And he even said in his special, he's like, "Do you know how many motherfuckers just turn their TV off?" You know what I'm saying? turn to their wife or their girl and was like, "Yo, we got to watch something else," or something like that. Like, and it's real. Like, that shit's real. Overall, it was still a good show. Like, even all the parts before, all the parts after, like, the dude's just funny, man. He's a funny guy. Stories like this and that you hear it's always interesting to see, because you're like, man, I really like vibed with this person, and you're like, damn, it makes people understand that. And this is going to sound bad, but get where I'm going with it. With society, it's going to help society understand that individuals who are gay are just human, right? And I'm not saying that people don't think that. There are people that are out there that think that, but there are people out there that don't think it, that think that people that are gay are aliens and shit. So I think this is going to be a good story. I hope it turns out to be a feel good story, but either way, it's part of our bingeable segment, and watch it. It's funny. Besides that, all of that, even if you get past that, it's great.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, man, I mean, some people may be turned off by it, whatever, but that made me think of I watched this interview that Steve Harvey did on Earn Your Leisure, which is like they do like financial stuff on YouTube or whatever. Those guys, like, it's black dudes who are trying to teach people of color about finances, stock market, stuff like that. And
I think I follow their podcast.
Yeah, they have a podcast series as well, and they had Steve Harvey on recently, and they were talking about rap. And Steve Harvey was saying like how he don't listen to rap, he listens to like old school stuff or whatever. And he was like, in his entire life, he's bought 5 rap albums, right? And the point that he was making is that people will say sometimes like, Steve Harvey ain't that funny to me. And he was like, I don't gotta be funny to you. I'm funny to these people who willing to buy these tickets when I go to a show. You know what I mean? Right. I'm funny to the people who turn on the TV when I'm on or whatever. And the point he was making about he's only bought 5 black or rap albums. He was like, okay, I've never bought an Eminem album, but he don't need me. He's doing all right. You know what I mean? Like it don't matter if I think he's good or not because he's straight. You know what I mean? And I feel like with a Carmichael, regardless if he comes out as gay or whatever, he got to kind of look at it that same way. Like, you know, there's people who think you're funny and they thought you were funny before they knew you were gay. They'll think you were funny after they knew you were gay. And as long as the people who are willing to buy your tickets think you're funny, then you're gonna be all right.
So good. And like Steve said, you know, that the problem is there are the people that look at gay people to be aliens or this other thing. Like, bro, it is what it is. Like, you know, people have been gay. It's okay. They should be allowed to be gay in their own space. And you be all right. You know what I mean? Like, it's 2022. We're not condoning that fuckery no more. Like, you know what I mean? Let people do what the fuck they want to do. You know, people gonna joke on it. That comes with the territory. But as long as you ain't impeding these people from living and enjoying their life, fuck out of the way. You know, let that man be gay.
No doubt. Make sure you guys watch it though. I think it's funny. It's funny, and I don't want to give you too much of more of what he said because then I'm giving away some of his jokes that are funny. So there was some good pieces to it. You guys should definitely watch it. What's going on the political front, VP?
I mean, this week, you know, I think the media is kind of moving away. I don't want to say moving away from the Ukraine story, but they're starting to let other stories kind of creep in there. So obviously, you know, Ukraine has been a big deal. Man, I'm fucking Ukrainians, man. They different, yo. Because like a lot of people thought, you know, me included, thought this whole thing would be over like in a week, you know, if that. And I mean, it's been a month, you know, and I keep coming back to that thing John Oliver said when he said, he was like, it's beginning to become very clear that Ukraine's national motto is fuck around and find out. So,
they need to put that on their flag.
Because I mean, they like this week, man, they actually started hitting targets in Russia. They're not just killing Russians in Ukraine anymore. They started hitting some shit in Russia now, you know. And the shit that was crazy was like a spokesman for Putin put out a statement saying like these peace talks they've been engaged in, like this makes it hard to like engage in these peace talks if they're going to be striking Russia. It's like, bitch, you still bombing us every day. What the fuck you talking about?
You started this shit, bro. Fuck wrong with you.
So, but yeah, so that's been going on. Tomorrow on Monday, depending on when you listen to this, but on Monday, April 4th, the Senate Judiciary Committee is going to vote Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination out of committee, based on the Republican members who have publicly said how they plan on voting on her. It seems like the vote is going to be tied, which is not a big deal. The majority leader, Chuck Schumer, can still move the vote to the floor without her getting confirmed in committee. So they'll vote on Monday on whether or not to confirm her. Likely we'll see a tie. And then it looks like they're looking for full confirmation this week, Friday. So she'll be confirmed as the new justice on the Supreme Court. Yeah, you had that happen. Kamala Harris went to Mississippi this week. This week the administration is highlighting small businesses, and so she went to Mississippi to meet with and talk about small businesses, but with Black small business owners. Yeah, and so that's kind of what's been going on, man, on the political front.
And you know where Steve's about to go now, right?
Yeah.
You know
Where am I
what he's
going?
about to say. Go ahead, come on with it.
I was going to say, we're a Black small business. Where's Kamala?
Kamala.
Listen, y'all say tomato. Kamala. She need to get on board and call me, bruh. Wait, it's only April. We got another 30 days. Right? Actually, what is it? May 31st. So we kind of technically have 60 days for Broadway Joe to get his shit together on these student loans.
Knew it was coming.
Yeah. The train's never late.
Never late.
Yeah. Oh, and then also another topic Steve's been on with the inflation front and gas prices and stuff like that. Biden announced this week that the U.S. government is going to release 1 million barrels of oil per day from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It's basically a reserve that the U.S. has of oil, so that way if there's ever like a shutdown somewhere, they can still have oil for like national security purposes, or even like to help our own country and things like that. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve has something like some 650 million barrels of oil in it, and so they're going to release 1 million barrels a day for 6 months to try to help bring down the price of oil, which then will in turn help bring down the cost of gas. So we'll see what happens. They just announced it on I believe it was on Thursday, and so it's going to take some time for that thing to kind of kick into gear. And then I'm also kind of waiting for, once it actually kicks into gear, they said 1 million barrels per day, but if you go based on history, like we've done something like this in the past, and they said 1 million barrels per day, but the most we've ever gotten was like just above 900,000 per day. So I'm pretty sure if they don't hit 1 million, the critiques
somebody
said 1 million, what the fuck,
Could you
979.
Could you imagine being the dude or lady that works at one of these shits, like having to load this shit on a truck,
Track
and
it.
shit? like
Tracking.
What?
Well, I don't think they load it on trucks. It's probably connected to a pipeline.
Still, like what the fuck? Like, imagine being at this fucking facility. Like,
so that's about 180 million barrels between now and 6 months from now. So we'll have about 470 reserves still. I guess that's
something like that. And then your boy Trump came out and he was like, after 50 years, the oil reserve was virtually empty until I came in office and built it up to 100%. And then somebody fact checked him and was like, when he came into office, there were 695 million barrels in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, and when he left office, there was 638 million. So, like, what the fuck is this dude talking about?
So 60 million missing.
Yeah,
but I saw a headline that a federal judge said that found him guilty of
not guilty, but what happened was a federal judge, Judge Carter, out in California. This is dealing with the Michael Eastman, or not Michael, John Eastman case. John Eastman is the guy who wrote that memo saying that Mike Pence, as vice president, during the electoral vote counting process on January 6th, had the right to reject certain electoral votes from certain states. The committee in Congress that's investigating January 6th subpoenaed his records. He went to court and claimed that he was working for Trump as an attorney, and therefore he has attorney-client privilege, and his documents can't be subpoenaed. This ended up going to court, and the judge viewed those documents and said, based on what he saw, because the judge can see all the documents, he said 10 of the documents were attorney-client privilege and they can't be seen, and all the rest of them, like hundreds of documents, needed to be turned over. So 10 out of hundreds. And he said the reason for this, even though some of those were attorney-client privilege, the reason he's still letting them go by is that in his mind, they met the standard that's called the crime fraud exception, meaning that if you have some kind of privilege like doctor, patient, lawyer, client, that privilege can be broken because you're using that privilege to engage in a crime. And for people who may not, if that don't make sense to you, what I just said, like, think of it like Steve recently watched The Sopranos, right? So remember how Tony and Junior used to meet at Junior's doctor's office so they can use his doctor patient privilege so they can talk business, So if that doctor were to get subpoenaed, he can't say, oh, you can't get my records because this guy's a patient. He's using his privilege to basically do a crime, so
to hide a crime.
So they're able to pierce the privilege. So that's basically what the judge saying is, based on what I've seen, it looks like a crime is happening here. And so that's why they can get these records. But that's also got people saying, if this judge is saying that it looks like he's seeing a crime, where the fuck is the Justice Department investigating this shit?
Yeah, we know where they're at.
Yeah.
niggas got gas and student loans to pay. So,
But hey, I said this before about the whole like investigating Trump and stuff like that. And the sad thing is, I mean, this is how it should be, right? Like, if the Justice Department is investigating somebody, we shouldn't know about it, because if they investigate and find nothing, they move on, and this person don't got to get their reputation ruined saying that, hey, they were under investigation for X, right? So if the Justice Department was investigating Trump or anybody else connected to trying to overthrow the government, it would look just like this, the way it looks now. But if they weren't investigating, it would also look just like this. And this is kind of the scary part, is that it based on the way it's looking now, that nobody who were higher than the people who stormed the Capitol are going to face any consequences based on what we're seeing so far in terms of like what's being investigated,
yeah. Unless one day, boom, got him.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, but I'm skeptical. So
yeah. Okay. What else is on the docket? Lakers are probably gonna miss the playoffs, dog.
Whew.
Your man LeBron thought it was tasteful on April 1st to post on Twitter, I'm out for the rest of the season. See y'all in the fall. And fans, Laker fans, did not take kindly to that.
Jordan would never.
Motherfuckers was like, Kobe up in heaven, like frowning or some shit. Like, I was reading some of the comments, like, not when you in the play-in, you at risk of missing the play-in. Like, this is bad timing, dog. Like, if you miss, it's not gonna be because you chose.
Yeah, EJ talks about this all the time, about like the fickle nature of people, and regardless of what you think about LeBron, if you're a Lakers fan, this man came to your team and brought you a championship. And I get it, like the Lakers are like the Yankees, like, okay, yeah, we've been here before, but at the end of the day, you got a championship with this man. So I think he deserves like a little fucking space to be able to make some jokes, you know what I mean, without people going all crazy and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If it was on April Fool's Day and Tua was like, yeah, I'm taking 2022 off, I'm gonna be pissed. You know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, come on, dude. Like, this dude is, you got your championship. Like, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, but still, VP, in the midst of the season, it's not like they're locked in 4 seed. They're struggling to get into the playoffs with LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. Like, as a
and
Lakers
Anthony
fan,
Davis.
Sometimes,
well, kind of a little bit.
You've got to be losing your shit, man. I mean, as a Knicks fan, this season was a wash. I thought our roster got better than it was last year. We lost like almost 10 games or so with double-digit leads in the fourth quarter. So it's like we've been seeing this thing going downhill. As a Lakers fan, you've got 2 of arguably the generation's best players, if not 3, on your team. And you're looking at the outside, you're on the outside looking in, you barely in there. You know what I mean? So it's just bad that
bad
he did
time.
that. Like,
bad time for a joke, bro.
I get the bad timing of it, but also, I feel like you got to kind of put things in context too, right? Because if, like, let's forget about the championship for a second, right? We have talked about this online and off. Most people would probably be hard pressed to name 5, 6 other guys in the NBA who puts in as much work off season to prepare for the upcoming season, to build up their game, etc., than a LeBron, right? So, like, if you're a fan, you should know this or whatever. And I get it that the timing might have been bad, but you should know this dude is going out there to try to win. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, it's just,
it's bad.
Like, people got to lighten up a little bit.
Jordan would never.
The new narrative is that LeBron is out there all about personal stats now.
Yeah,
because he's putting up the 30s a night. He's putting up
every
the trip
time every time he breaks something, they lose.
But
every
they're
time
losing.
he achieves another stat, they another benchmark, they lose.
And then the other night against New Orleans, he shot a fucking air ball to tie the game. Like, my dude, relax. You got like pass the ball. Like you gotta. That's the problem. His decision making and his age is starting to get even worse. Like that one, he made that one pass to Carmelo where he had a wide open lane, and then now they were triple teaming him, and he's like, "Oh, let me cross over, 3-pointer, air ball," and niggas was open. Like,
yeah, and at this point, we also know his motivation to continue to play. Like Melo is still playing, right? But we also know LeBron's motivation is that he wants to play with his son. And, at some point, we're looking at this guy, he's declining. He's 37 years old. You can't do what you used to do. You're not going to be the focal point of every team you're on going forward anymore. And we said this with the Lakers. You front load that team, not a lot of bench, not a lot of leadership in the youth. This is what you're going to have.
right. And these young kids ain't scared of him. Like years ago, like the LeBron of the Heat and the LeBron of late Cavalier lifestyle, people were scared, like or starstruck. When you I think you said this a couple weeks ago, EJ. You looked at the schedule and you're like, damn, we got the fucking Heat coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, we got the Cavs, we got fucking LeBron coming in here, man. You know what I'm saying? Now nobody's sitting there. A lot of these kids are not like, damn, the Lakers are coming into town. They like, all right, well, the Lakers coming into town. They got three big names on their team. They playing like shit. If I step it up, you know what I'm saying? This could be a win for me. And then you got guys that are motivated, like CJ McCollum that came from Portland that went to New Orleans, right? And he's like, I've been telling you niggas I'm been a star for years, but you had me in the shadow of Dame Lillard. I came to New Orleans and now I'm showing you I'm a star, and you're gonna bring LeBron and AD and so in here. Well, guess what? You're gonna see I'm a star now. And that's what happened. So
And shout out to the Cavs. They got a young force to be reckoned with in Cleveland. And they're doing it with not a lot of stars, no stars. Rather, they're doing it. They're killing it. And talk about a rebuild, man, because we all wrote that team off for dead since LeBron left. And they got something special cooking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Giannis is different, yo. Giannis is different. I love that guy, man. I love that guy. Like his post games, like I just like this dude is like, all right, I'm gonna go beast out on the court, and then I'm gonna get off the court, and I'm gonna just be a fun ass nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
he's relatable, man. And that's,
this dude came to a press conference with a dad jokes book.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
And it's even funnier because the translation, all his life he's had to struggle, right? We know that. So yeah, man, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. What else, man? We got anything else going on? Talk to me. I know you guys are have been more in tune than me lately.
I mean, before you get off the NBA, I just wanted to mention that the Miami Heat did clinch the playoffs and are number one in the East. So, that happened.
All you're gonna do is lose to Milwaukee.
I mean, when did that happen?
We clinched on.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, gonna do Miami. I mean to Milwaukee. I mean at this point right now, I feel like it's Giannis's game right now. I mean, I feel like he's been coasting, kind of chilling
for the East.
Yeah, and Brooklyn. I mean, what a shit show!
It should be between those two, though. Either way,
what a shit show, though. They're at the bottom of the East too. Yeah. And you've got KD, Kyrie, James.
But now you got Kyrie back full time though.
Right. So here's the thing, right? They're at the bottom, but they've had a lot of injury. They still, and it sucks that they still haven't gotten Ben Simmons back. Dude needs to nut up.
Not James Harden. I'm tripping. Yeah.
Simmons.
Yeah.
Simmons also filed a grievance this week, by the way, if y'all didn't see that, against the 76ers. Saying that they need to pay him the $20 million they didn't pay him for the time that he was out.
Yeah, something like
the fucking balls on this guy here.
Well, I mean, he could get away with it because he said it was mental health. Like you can't hold that against him. It's not like he was like, "Oh, I'm sitting out just because I'm holding out for a trade," like a lot of these guys do. He was smart enough to pop up after he's noticed how much money he was losing and say, "You know what? I'm going to take some time away because after being here, I see it's not good for my mental health." So as he's going to have a case. He's going to have a case.
Yeah.
But he's making us light skins look bad. And as we're talking about that, how come everybody that decides they're going to cast Michael Ealy decides they're going to make light skins look bad? Like in Bel Air, this dude was just a whole scumbag, yo. Like he's my dude though.
On Viv on the low is one of the villains of the show, yo. She's one of the villains of the show, yo. By bar none, she's one of the villains of the show.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't. So I'm glad it wasn't as predictable as I thought it was. I'll talk. I thought, and this is in no way a spoiler, but I thought it was going to turn out that Will was like Uncle Phil's son or some shit. Like watching as I'm like, oh come on, don't do this. We've seen this enough. So I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm glad they didn't go that.
That'd be nasty. That don't even make sense. But yeah, what about the NFL, man? The draft is coming up this month. How you guys feeling?
What day is the draft? Because baseball starts tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. What's today? 3rd? Baseball starts in 2 days. Opening day baseball. Let's go.
Draft is like 25th or something like that.
30th.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Where is it this year? Indiana?
It's in I was about to say Vegas, but it is
Miami. What the fuck are y'all doing?
Texas.
Why would you give New England anything? Why did y'all trade with New England?
I'm not seeing the location. As far as EJ's question, what I think happened here, EJ, is that it is in Vegas. I was correct. The draft.
Okay.
What I think happened here is that from media reports that I've seen, from the time that that the Dolphins traded for Tyreek Hill, they said that teams started reaching out to Miami about Devontae Parker's availability. And what I think the Dolphins did here from their own standpoint is to say, Parker was our number one, right? But he wasn't. After you see Waddle's number one receiver, right? Then you bring in Tyreek Hill, and you basically got a 1A and a 1B in Waddle and Tyreek Hill. And then they brought over
I forgot about Waddle.
Yeah, they brought over old boy from Dallas. And then you also
Cedric
got
Wilson.
Yes, him, and then you got Gesicki as well. And so now it seems like you don't really need Devontae Parker, right? And then we just re-signed Preston Williams, who is the younger Devontae Parker. He's 6'5", he's injury prone, and he has questionable hands. The difference is that Devontae Parker was scheduled to make $11 million this year, and Preston Williams is going to make $2 million.
I get all of that, but how do you send
That's an easy decision.
I get all of that, but how the fuck do you justify sending him to New England? He's probably gonna play y'all and score like 4 touchdowns a game every time he plays y'all. That'll be the only 2 games he plays.
The only thing I can think
he plays all year.
The only thing I can think, EJ, is that the Patriots trade probably was the best offer as far as what we got in return. But I'm surprised they traded him within the division though.
That's nasty. The only 2 games he plays out of 17 will be against y'all. He'll have like 300 combined yards, 5 touchdowns.
Sometimes you don't have a choice, and I think part of that decision making had to be 11 million. If you can get 11 million off the books, and that this guy is constantly hurt, and realistically, you need to make way for Jalen Waddle to have time on the field. You're gonna have Tyreek until you made the same point. So I can see I can see where that came from. But I do agree that's a crazy move to just send him in the division.
Yeah.
But they probably couldn't
mean,
find any other trade suitors
I mean, I look at the AFC East like the NFC East.
or trade partners. Rather.
I think those are two divisions. No matter what you look at, you just don't see that happening. You don't see Dallas trading with Washington. You don't see the Jets trading with the Patriots. It's happened in the past, but it's just nasty. Every time I see it, it's just nasty. Can't believe it. Send that guy west anywhere.
Most teams
and then that move, you know, to the point that I was saying, like when you cleared Parker's contract off your books, the Dolphins were sitting before this trade, and they also read this on Friday. We restructured Xavier Howard's contract, and with those two moves, Parker and the restructure of Howard's contract, we went from having like just under 8 million in cap space and being in like, I think we were like the 20th team as far as like most cap space, number 20, to the number 14 with the most cap space with like something like 20 something million in cap space or whatever. So, you know, I think that's why. Because from what reporters are saying, who like Barry Jackson, who covers the Dolphins, he said after the Tyreek Hill trade, he was like, Dolphins aren't done. I don't know who else is out there, but he keeps saying that they're not done with whatever it is, you know, people they're bringing in. So
probably gonna get it. Probably looking at some defensive help.
Well, we still need help on the O line. Like a lot of people think we're trying to go after Treader from Cleveland, the offensive lineman. But the problem with him is that he's always injured. Last year, he didn't practice the whole season. He only played on game. I mean, he's a great offensive lineman, but he only played on game day because they were scared he was going to get hurt. So
practice. Hey, listen, man. It's gonna be the AFC is gonna be pretty competitive this year, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna be pretty scary to watch. You know, teams are improving. They're trying to improve, and you know, Miami's definitely up there. They definitely are making the moves. Like we said last time, y'all biggest question mark is who's gonna be under center. You know, is who is Tua really gonna be?
I mean, you know, no, I agree with you, but like, you know, when we got to remember, it's not like just Tua some guy he pulled off the street, you know. And we seen Tua when he played at Alabama. He had a great offensive lineman, he had a great running game, he had great receivers, and he put in work, you know. And so the Dolphins are trying to create that environment in the NFL to say we're going to upgrade your offensive line, we're going to upgrade your run game, upgrade your receiving core. So now you got to go put in work. So he has to prove it, no doubt. But it's not like we haven't seen Tua be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's shown flashes. I don't know about great is a little bit that's a stretch. It's doing all to Vari's what Vari says, it's doing a lot of work in that sentence. He's shown flashes. And now that you have, here's the biggest piece. Are you guys going to be able to get him the time? And if you do get him the time, is he going to be able to get the ball down the field? Because you're going to have two speedsters on the outsides. And realistically, I mean, Tyreek can run slants, but it's really a slant or a go route with him. And Jalen Waddle, I think, is a pretty damn good route runner. He's a little bit small, though. So coming across the middle, your window is going to be smaller. And Tua, he's going to have work to do to be able to be successful with that receiving core. But I think you guys do on paper. Yeah. I mean, you still got your corners. You guys still look like a solid contender. But the Bills, the Bills.
I don't know about contender. For the division, yes.
Yeah.
Division. I don't think. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, give you your props, but that's where it stops.
No, I wouldn't argue. They're trying to build a juggernaut, but you still got to prove yourself. So I would say right now they're fighting for the division playoffs. Going to the dance. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And you need, I guess after this first year, when they see how the coach, the players and the coach work together, I think it'll be easier for you to start to draw people in as well. Miami is a great landing spot for some of these guys. It's surprises me that you guys haven't been able to land more people in trades and free agency, but
doesn't surprise me.
But I think if this guy turns out to be a really good coach or a player's coach, he's young, He seems in tune with the culture for the most part. I think it could be the best thing that happens for your team.
I just hope the curse of Brian Flores never leaves his team. And I hope they lose all the time.
Right.
Signed, a Jets fan.
Misery loves company.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What else is going on?
They had Coach K last night, man.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So long, Coach
Finally
K.
done.
Unless he gives us 30 days like Tom Brady and turns around like, nah, I'm back.
That
Like
was a
I
good
never
game
left.
last night, though. Good game last night. Shout out to who's the coach in North Carolina?
Roy Williams.
Not Roy Williams. No,
No,
black
he
guy.
retired. The black dude.
Oh shit. Can't think his name. Former player.
He's an ex-player too. Yeah.
Can't think his name. God damn it.
I got you.
But shout out to them. That was a hell of a game. Those boys closed the gap, late. And North Carolina, they seem real, man.
Hubert Davis.
That's right.
Davis.
Hubert Davis. That's your
Hubert
guy,
Davis.
EJ.
Nah.
Didn't he play with the Knicks?
If he did, he wasn't a big Nick. No. He wasn't great for us like that. No.
Hey, yo. Yeah, North Carolina looked good last night. I lost money because of them, so fuck them.
The Knicks drafted him. That's where he started his career.
Yeah,
First round, 20th pick in 1992.
Yeah, he wasn't all world with us. I'm pretty sure he was gone very short after.
He played there for 4 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. To be a first rounder, that's nothing.
And then who won the other game? Was it Villanova that won the other game?
No, Villanova lost.
Villanova lost to
Arkansas?
Crap.
Kansas.
Kansas.
Right. Jayhawks, yeah.
And this was the first time North Carolina and Duke ever faced off in the Final Four.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a good game, that Kansas NC game. That's going to be a good national championship game. Look forward to watching it. Baseball starts tomorrow, Tuesday. What the fuck? What's today? The 4th or the 3rd?
Today's the 3rd.
It starts Tuesday. Tuesday is opening day. I have a baseball draft today, so I look forward to that this evening.
Are you ever gonna make it to Baltimore to watch a Yankees game?
Yes.
No.
It sucks because I went on to look at the schedule after you asked me last week, and the first set of games is when I'm going to be out of town already, so that sucked. But yeah, this year, no doubt. As long as you
more than Steve, EJ.
As long as you roll out
I got to lay over there.
Roll out the red carpet and have a spades game ready for me when I get there. I'm ready because I need some spades in my life, man.
We shall see.
Next Saturday, the Castworthy podcast will be vending at the Orlando Sneaker Convention. We'll be represented. I won't say we're vending, but we'll be represented at the Orlando Sneaker Convention with 2 tables. So that's a thing.
You selling your sneakers?
I'll be selling some stuff, some things. It's a couple pieces, not everything, some pieces. So we'll be there, and I got some other stuff in the works that we need to talk about off air as well.
Sounds good. I love it. I'm gonna watch some TV, being that Force isn't on this week. I'm upset about that.
I'm glad it's off because I'm still behind 2 weeks, so I got to catch up on these last 2.
Yeah. Now I got to figure out something else to watch. So.
And Steve, were you done with sports there?
Unless you have anything additional, anything on the hockey front from you?
No, I don't have anything on that. But I was just gonna say that story that came out about the Washington Commanders fucking with the church's money. So
Ain't nothing gonna happen to Snyder.
Hey, I'm normally in that camp as well. I mean, you look at the racial stuff, the whole
The cheerleaders.
spying on the
nigga goes
cheerleaders
hard.
or whatever that was. But
Snyder goes fucking hard.
But now you're talking about fucking with the owner's money, and we know that's what they care about at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, they ain't gonna do Dan Snyder. I don't know, bro. Whoever his legal representation is fucking phenomenal. Like Snyder ain't nothing gonna happen to that man. Yo, he's tough. That's the real Teflon Don. I mean, for real. All of the shit think about it. From the logo, from the name, all the shit he's been getting from the name, and then okay, we finally change it. All right, cool. Nobody's talking about that shit no more. Then the cheerleader shit, then the racial shit. It's like, yo, everything that comes this dude's way, he fucking dodges it. Fucking dodges it. Like it's amazing. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Damn.
It's incredible. I think Trump wishes he was Dan Snyder. It's incredible. And now they're talking about in DC, the mayor just started talking about redoing RFK Stadium because they play in Landover, Maryland, which is right outside of DC, at FedEx Field. But now they're talking about redoing RFK, so it's going to be a lot of controversy coming down the pike for that team. He's got to deal
the Commanders.
With FedEx. Yeah, FedEx owns like a piece of them. So we'll see.
It's a shitty ass team name anyway, and team. Fuck them.
Yeah, I hate that shit though. I'm not a fan of using tax dollars to build or renovate these billionaires' properties. That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know who owns RFK specifically, but she's talking about it. And the crazy thing is, like, she's been the mayor for years, and it hasn't been the plan. I mean, they still host events there, but it just looks bad. It should have been remodeled a long time ago. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I think that's it, man. I think we made a good time today. Hour and a half.
Record
Let me just. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I missed throughout the week that I might have posted to you guys.
I got something. You don't know how.
EJ, how's your relationship going? Oh, EJ's always ready for toxicity. It's his middle name.
I mean, I was gonna say, the weather is changing, and coming up on sundress season.
It's still a little rough up this way. It's about 55 degrees right now. It looks horrible outside, but yeah, sundress season is upon us. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
No. I have heard what those alimony checks look like.
Oh boy.
I am a one sundress man. Whoa, pause. Wait a minute. How's your relationship going?
I don't know.
Not sure, sir.
I don't know, man. Every day is something. Every day I wake up, somebody got a problem with E. I don't know. At this point, man, I'm just like, yo. At this point, you just gotta take it day by day, see what you're presented with, and move along. One thing I know for sure, as a black man in America in 2022, I'm protecting my energy, protecting my sanity, and that's paramount for me. So, people gonna do what they're gonna do. You can't control people. All you can do is control how you react to them. So,
can't turn a hoe to a housewife or husband. So EJ back in these streets. Yo, listen, I got a plug on the birth control. You don't even got to use your insurance. I can get you the mail birth control for the Lolo. Holla at me.
Well, there's still other diseases and stuff out there.
If you start to lose hair, and anybody makes jokes, we Will Smith them real quick.
Wow.
EJ, so Vari, what's your take on sundress season since you brought it up?
I mean, it's a great time of the year, man. You know,
True.
I didn't even realize what happened was, I don't know if you guys saw the chat I posted it.
I did. I absolutely did.
This young lady that I work with posted that and posted something like, you know, whenever you're feeling down or something like that, just remember what that ass do in a sundress. And I was like,
tag me in her post.
What does that? Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, no, it is absolutely the season. Because thank you, global warming, because we went straight from legging season to sundress season. Like there was no in between there.
Yeah.
There was no like loose jeans and shit like we used to see in between. Like it's been a pretty good transition here in Florida.
Yeah. I mean,
allegedly. So I've heard.
You know how we do here, man, weather-wise. Is either hot, humid, or raining. And sometimes it's all three.
Right. Yeah, no, it's beautiful though. Beautiful day today. Go outside, get some vitamin D from the sun, and yeah, play it by ear. I think my draft is at 5. I don't even fucking know, but I got this baseball draft, man. There's money involved, so
Vitamin D, eh?
Keep us competitive. Hey, you got the guest bedroom ready for me, dog?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I got
that doesn't
clean up,
you don't
change the sheets.
You don't sound change the sheets, man. Fuck. Get a fucking mattress topper or something. Like I don't want to be laying down smelling fucking bleach. Like
yeah, you'll be all right. You'll be all right, bro. You'll be all right. All is well.
And it needs to be a mini fridge in there. Like, I mean, hook it all up.
I don't know about all that. You be all right.
Yeah, no. We thugging. All right, man. If we don't have anything else, let me hand it over to VP to get us up out of here.
Indeed.
Everybody, we definitely appreciate you guys taking time out of your Sunday morning / afternoon to rock with us on this episode of the Castworthy Podcast. You can find us on all podcasting platforms. Just search Castworthy. You can find us on our social media. Search at Castworthy as well. On Instagram, it's at Castworthy_podcast. As we've been saying for the last couple of weeks, man, make that phone call, send that text message, reach out to somebody, let them know you're thinking about them, let them know, they on your heart, and tomorrow ain't promised, man. So make that phone call, send that text. If I can also give any other good piece of advice, man, for those of you who live in the South, listen to the podcast. If you get the chicken tender sub from Publix, get that chicken chopped up. You heard it here first. But yeah, anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, follow. Again, we definitely appreciate you guys taking the time who listen live. For those who will listen once the episode posts, we appreciate you taking that time as well. And we will see you on the next episode. We're out. We love you. Have a good one.